So I'm coming back with so let's try that again. Hi everyone, so I'm back. I know it's been like a crazy long while, but this semester was really rough. It was like the last semester of college for me, or university, depending on where you live or what you guys call it. But like 4 years of undergrad, my last semester of 4 years of undergrad. And I just had so much to do and super busy with a bunch of events, finding a job, trying to finish my classes well, and all these other things, and just didn't have enough time to like film and stuff. And it kind of sucks, but I'm glad that it's now over. I'm moving into the next chapter of my life, and as a result, I kind of wanted to talk to you guys about it and talk to you guys about my thoughts on college, or like some of the things that I learned, because I feel like that's something that I can do on this channel. It's something that I want to do, something that I feel like could be helpful, especially for people that are just going into college and like don't know what to expect. So yeah, without further ado, let's get started. If I keep looking down, it's because I'm looking at my computer, because I made a list. I've been thinking about this for a while. So yeah. So the first thing that I feel like I learned in college is that I will never understand boys. Never. I don't get them. And I'm pretty sure I'm just going to do a separate video on this about my experience with boys in college and talk about more about why I like put this in here. But it's like, my basic takeaway is that that shouldn't be your focus. Like, if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Like, don't blame yourself. I have a friend who's always just like, blame everything else but yourself. And that's kind of a mentality I've started to take. And just try not to understand them, because they're literally impossible to understand. Like, they say they need a dictionary to understand this. I need a dictionary to understand them. Like, help me out here. So number 2 is you learn as much, if not more, outside of the classroom as you do in the classroom. So yes, I learned a lot of new things in terms of like material, like scholastic material in the classroom, right? Definitely, that's what you do when you go to college. But I feel like I learned so much more outside of the classroom. I'm not gonna lie, like when I was in high school, a lot about just being home, my mom and my parents, especially my mom was really strict. And so I was pretty sheltered. I kind of had like a super scheduled out life. Everything was planned out for me a lot of the time. I had more freedom in high school, obviously, but the freedom that I had in college was completely different. Literally all day outside of class, what I do is up to me. And so that freedom just gave me so much room and so much opportunity to kind of get to understand and learn so much about not only the people around me, but about myself. I learned so much about myself, and I learned a lot of that outside of the classroom. So don't go into college thinking the only learning you'll do is in the classroom. And I think that was the best part of it, learning a lot outside of the classroom and exploring a bunch of different opportunities and exploring my specific interests, solely because they were my specific interests and not because of any other outside influence. Third thing is mental headspace or outlook matters a lot. So this is coming from someone who's kind of pessimistic. I'm a pretty pessimistic person, and that's something that I've always struggled with, and I struggle with it even now. But in college, I became surrounded by people who are really positive thinkers, and I think that definitely helps within college, because you will go through a lot of tough times. There will be hard times, but having a positive outlook totally changes how not only you view things, but how people view the way you view things. And sometimes that affects outcomes and things like that. You know, positive thinking yields to positive results. And it's something that I have to continue telling myself. Like, don't think that I'm sitting here saying, oh, yes, I'm positive all the time. I'm definitely not positive all the time. But it's something I'm trying, and I feel like it helps, because me being negative won't help me, like, at all, even though I do it. Guilty as charged. But definitely having a positive outlook and the way you look at things is definitely really important. Really helpful when you're going to be stressed with a bunch of like workload, work if you have to work during college, extracurriculars, pursuing all these different opportunities, making friends, trying to figure out what you're going to eat, things like that, you know. Headspace is very important. So next thing I want to say is sometimes you are your own worst enemy. And along with that, like, you can do anything you want. And honestly, like, no one cares as much as you think about what you're doing. And that's something that's just like completely honest. Like, I am guilty as charged. I think everyone cares about everything. And I live in this world where I'm just super conscious of everything, and I think everyone cares. But the reality of the matter is, everyone's like kind of more worried about themselves than they are about you. So stop being your worst enemy, right? Stop telling yourself all of these things that like can maybe put you down, maybe make you feel like you're not good enough to be doing what you're doing. That shouldn't be how you look at things. Try to be your own cheerleader, right? Because when you're your own cheerleader, you don't need anyone else to be your cheerleader. Having other people is nice, it's great, but having other people won't replace you being a good enough cheerleader for yourself. That changes it so much. You believing in yourself can take you from here to like all the way up here. You know what I mean? Like, it just matters so much, and it's coming from experience and learning about it. I'm not perfect at this. I'm still not my best like friend to myself. I'm not my best cheerleader yet. It's something that I work on, and that's why I'm kind of like talking about it. I have to constantly remind myself to tell myself that I can do anything I want, that it's all about me, and I shouldn't try to think that I can't do things, because that's not going to really help me. It's not going to do any good for me. And that's not what I'm here for. I'm here to like keep improving and keep moving on. And in order to do that, I need to believe that I can do that. And everyone else should believe that, and not worry about what other people think about that. If I want to wear what I want, I shouldn't care what other people are going to think. Why should that cross my mind? Even though it does, still. I just need to remind myself that it doesn't really matter. It just, what matters is my happiness. So yeah, definitely. And then don't let your fear drive you. And this is like a big thing for me. I did a lot of reflecting during my senior year for various things. I had to write a speech for one of the ceremonies. And this is what I talked about. I talked about fear. And I'm the type of person that lets fear drive me. I let fear help lead me to make almost all the decisions that I choose to make. And that's always not a good thing. Not always necessarily, but like, it's really difficult to live a life where fear drives you and everything. Like, fear of rejection, fear of people not liking you, fear of people judging you, fear of all these different things. And sometimes super irrational fears too, that I would have about different things, like walking into class late. Like, if I was late to class, I would be like, oh no, I don't want to go to class because people are going to look at me weird if I walk late into class. Like what, Fatima? Why is that something that's going through your mind? My priority should have been, I need to get to class to get the material. Whatever material I've missed, that's like a lost cause, but I'm not going to miss anymore. Instead, I was doing things like, no, I'm not going to go to class. You know, so not letting fear drive me is one of the things that probably one of my biggest takeaways from college, is trying to move away from that, I guess, proclivity of mine, or that leaning of mine, because that's usually what I go towards. I'm very, very controlling, or I like to control things, and so I let fear drive me, and I shouldn't let that be. I should do what I want because that's what I want, and move on. The last thing I want to talk about is something that I still struggle with, and I freaking graduated, and that's really truly believing the fact that my grades don't define me. My grades don't define me. Repeat it again to yourself. Your grades don't define you. They're literally a letter. You doing poorly in a class does not have any reflection on your capabilities as a person, as a student, as a human. And I know it's hard to believe because we live in a society that kind of tries to measure everything quantitatively and put everything on paper and put everything in comparison to other people, which I have lots of thoughts on, but we're not going to get into that. And that leads to us feeling just like horrible about doing poorly on a test or doing poorly in a class or just struggling a little bit, you know? That doesn't define you. No, not at all. Like I read something really, really good recently by J.K. Rowling, and it was her speech at Harvard. And one of the things she says is that fail. It doesn't matter how badly you fail, it's how you get back up. So, your grades don't define you. What defines you is you, okay? And I still need to tell myself this, like, Tima, what defines you is you and not your grades. Because you're not always going to be perfect. I'm not always going to have straight A's. It's not going to happen, and that's okay. Me not having straight A's doesn't mean that I'm any less smart or any less capable or any less able to do what I want to do in life. And I feel like they need to tell us more that more in university, college, high school, middle school, elementary school, and reduce the pressure that we feel as students and as just people to measure ourselves quantitatively and compare ourselves to others by these norms that are set for us by God knows who. So those are kind of my musings on college and like what I think about it. I don't know. I have like several more things I'm going to talk about. I think I'm going to do them in a different video though. But let me know what you think about this. Let me know if you want more elaboration on any of these things, because I'd be willing to do that, because these ideas are coming from a personal space and a personal experience, and I'm willing to talk about it more and elaborate more and talk to you guys about that. But other than that, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm hoping to film a lot more this summer and put in a lot more work into my videos, especially now that school is done. Even during work, I'm planning to like put more into this, because like I'm saying, I'm like gonna take my own advice, which I'm trying to take, like believing in myself and actually doing things that I want to do. Because some of these things apply to like how I view YouTube and why I don't do certain things on YouTube, or why I haven't pursued it. And so I'm gonna really, really try to do that. And yes, thank you so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. Let me know what you'd like to see in the comments below. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Only if you like, otherwise just watch the video and let me know what else you'd like to see. Okay, I'm gonna go now because this is the longest goodbye ever. Mwah. Bye. Thing I'm thinking about talking about. Actually, I'm not thinking about talking about this. I'm going to talk about this. What am I saying, Fatima? Goodness, okay. So, I mean, I don't know.